Hey everyone, I've got a really quick thing to tell you before we get into the show. Right now, roosterteeth.com has first memberships on discount. That's right, you can use a special code to get a year of first membership for $45. That's 35% off. All you got to do is go to roosterteeth.com/signup and use the code FIRST45. And then you can use that first membership to watch some really cool stuff we have up on the site, like, Haunter or Weird Place. You can listen to podcasts without ads on them. It's pretty cool, and it supports us directly. So give that a shot. Again, roosterteeth.com/signup. Use FIRST45 as the promo code, and get yourself a year first. When walking around a theme park, you're surrounded by the sounds of children, entertainment, and roller coasters. But just because you're in a fantasy land does not mean you are immune to the scary things that could happen there. Let's explore the haunted side of theme parks on today's Annual Pass. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Annual Pass. This is the podcast where we talk about all things theme parks, rides, shows, attractions, roller coasters. If it happens in a theme park, it happens here on Annual Pass. I'm your host, Jack Pattillo, and of course, joining me, as always, are my lovely, beautiful, and talented co-hosts, BK and Geoff Ramsey. Hi, Jeffrey. Hi, BK.
Hi.
Jeff, you have a question?
I have a question.
What's that, sir?
You did. So we're doing a crossover episode between Annual Pass and Red Web.
I mean, you just take my thunder, but go ahead.
Did you do the intro like that just to show them that what they do isn't that hard and you could do it without even trying?
Because
it worked.
There was into a confrontation.
The viewers will probably see a jump cut there where Jack had to retake something. Let me just go ahead and point that
also,
one
the viewers
out.
might not see me redo it after everyone leaves.
I was gonna say I was a big fan of Red Web until I saw how easy it was for you to do their job for them, and now I'm starting to second guess.
Well, hey, thank you, Jeffrey, for the beautiful lead-in to my conversation here. We have a special episode of Annual Pass today. We have our friends from Red Web joining us. We got Trevor Collins and Alfredo Diaz.
Hey,
hi, guys.
What's up?
Welcome.
It's Web Red.
Web Red. Oh, I'm sorry. I got it backwards.
You get it right.
So I brought you guys on today because we're going to talk about some spooky things on Annual Pass today, some mysteries, conspiracy type things. And that being said, as a heads up for maybe some of our younger listeners who, don't always, enjoy the scary things, we're going to talk about a little bit more macabre type stuff on the show today. That means a little bit scarier.
Don't say big words when you're talking
I know,
about
I realize.
kids.
Right.
Macabre. Okay? It's spoopy. If you don't like the spoop, I'm sorry.
So, we are going to talk about some unfortunate events that occurred in various theme parks all over the country.
Like that one in India the other day that was all over Reddit? Did you see that video?
Let's start with that one.
Anyway, we're going to talk about some scary stuff. So if you don't like hearing kind of some bad things that could happen to you in theme parks, maybe this isn't your episode, but thank you so much for tuning in. We love you very much. We'll be back with normal episodes soon. So that being said, India, what happened in India, Jeff?
You didn't see one of those spinners that goes up in the air on the pole? It just slammed down and all the people bounced out.
Really?
It was all over Reddit.
Oh my gosh.
Bloody theme park horror as ride snapped mid-swing, smashing two thrill seekers to death. Yeah, that's them.
Good God.
Yeah.
No, I did not look into that very much.
Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't have brought it up, but this is the episode.
This is the episode we're allowed to talk about some spookier stuff.
Those droppers. Is that
The
one of
ones
those
I
things where
hate?
your legs are dangling and you're spinning?
The swings. The swings.
I never want to put my feet
God.
under the seat because it's that. Because if it lets loose and it comes
It gets
down.
get caught and rips out a limb.
You don't have feet anymore.
Don't get-
I mean,
I
you
don't
still
wanna
have
get
them. They're just
snagged in
not
the
on
mechanics.
you.
I will pretty much ride any theme park attraction, but the swings, the ones where you spin around and it's just a chain, literally like a swing.
It is just a chain.
Those are the ones that freak me out the most. I
love
can't do those. Yeah,
I'll be
it's the
honest. On
worst.
Red Web, we talk about mysteries, murders, and really gruesome stuff. This is honestly debatably more terrifying.
Well, that's the thing we're going to talk about today, because theme parks, you feel pretty safe. You feel secure. Millions of people go through these things.
Yeah.
You never think about the other stuff that happens at parks because, they say you've got a 1 in a million chance of this happening. There's a 40 to 50 million people who go through these parks every single year. So that 1 in a million chance is going to happen 40 to 50 times. So
Wait, don't do that math.
They do that. They say that it could happen to you. I would say it might happen to you.
Wait.
Let's go one step further and say because it's October, it will.
Yeah, there you go.
You.
Also, don't forget, we've got some merchandise up at the store.roosterteeth.com. I'm wearing my new I Survived
So
the
cute.
Annual
How
Pass
appropriate
podcast.
for today's
We
episode.
also have a pin. We have our faces one where it's all of the
yes.
Universal monsters with BK, Jeffrey,
that's pretty
myself, and
dope.
Ben, producer Ben as well. Ben doesn't have a microphone today. It's the first time he doesn't have a mic in a while.
Damn.
Because we brought in
In the
two guests.
shadow
Took it away.
realm.
So Jeff is using producer Ben's mic. So
I'll be Ben today.
He'll have to scream. All right, we'll make you look up stuff, Ben
dope.
Lexa.
That's
we only have a fat little thicked up ghosts.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Christian.
Christian's our producer, but no, we have a mascot. Baby hands. What he lacks in his hands, he makes up for in his rump.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's very
thick.
cute.
Nice. All right. So, let's just go ahead and dive into it. So I have a series of different stories here across many, many different places.
Okay.
We'll finish with all the Disney stuff because everyone wants to hear about Disney.
Yes.
There's plenty of spooky stuff.
Where are the
that happens.
bodies, Jack?
Those frozen head.
Yeah, Frozen Head. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that. All right, so let's start with somewhere near and dear to Jeff's heart. We're going to talk about Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. Have you ever been there before?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you nervous?
How far from
No,
Hoboken
I just
is
don't know
it?
why it's near and dear to my heart. I lived in New Jersey. I don't consider New Jersey to be near or dear.
Good.
I mean, that
hold
was
on.
closer than anyone else here. I mean,
I didn't
BK
hate
lived in New York
living
for a
in New
bit.
I guess that's true.
Is it close to Hoboken?
I don't.
It's southwest of Hoboken.
There was a spree where Jeff was enamored with the word Hoboken.
Hadouken?
Yes.
Hoboken?
I do.
Hoboken?
I do
What did I
like
just say
the word
wrong?
Hoboken. Yeah. I would never want to live there, but I do like to say it.
All right, so it's Six Flags Great Adventure. There's a roller coaster called Rolling Thunder. A park employee died in August 16th, 1981. Jesus.
Oh, that
Jeff.
wasn't. I thought that was a joke.
Wait, did he just laugh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be one of these episodes. A park employee died August 16th, 1981, attempting something incredibly stupid and dangerous.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now.
Rolling Thunder stood in the Frontier Adventures section of Six Flags Great Adventure from 1979 till 2013, and its prime was an exciting dual-tracked racing wooden roller coaster, 96 feet tall, 56 miles per hour top speed, over
hell no.
3,300 feet long, and built with over 60 miles of Douglas fir lumber. And we had to get very specific on the
Douglas
lumber there.
fir.
There's a good.
Wait, is there a reason? Was the
it's got a
type
good
of
spring
wood?
to it. You know,
It's good wood.
The cause
It
of
bends.
death?
It's good wood.
It
good
snaps
wood.
crisply.
It's smooth.
Douglas
it
fir is
doesn't
good
snap,
wood.
It
Douglas
bends.
fir splinters, not so much, or
Probably not. It probably has a
Okay.
little flex to
I'll
it.
take anything that's not Knott's Berry Farm. That
Right,
place
right,
looks
right,
like it's
right.
breaking apart every day.
In Rolling Thunder's third season of operation, 20-year-old park employee Scott Tyler of Middletown, New Jersey, was killed during a morning test ride. Mr. Tyler, who had worked at the park for several summers, was test riding the Rolling Thunder roller coaster just before 10 a.m., opening the park, when he fell to his death. An autopsy showed that he had died of a fractured skull and multiple injuries. Officials estimated the car had been traveling around 35 miles per hour at the time of the accident and said that Mr. Tyler had not put down a safety bar before he began the test run.
Oh.
In other
was a
words,
bet.
the daredevil climbed out of the lap bar, holding on for dear life until the roller coaster train hit the high-speed turn and he was thrown off. So dude was just standing and the car is holding on to it.
can't believe BK laughed at that.
Yeah.
That was pretty rude.
Well, you didn't see
Yeah.
this. That was cut out.
To
It was a good
disrespect
5 minutes, too.
The dead like that.
But I mean, like, it's a test
sorry,
run.
BK. I'm just
first
witnessing
and
a
foremost. And then on top
slaughter
of
here.
it being a test run, you don't put the seatbelt on, and you're standing up. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you're just kind of asking for it, to be honest.
That's silly.
The coaster was thoroughly inspected by state officials, deemed structurally and mechanically safe, and was reopened 2 days later. Modern theme park rides have so many redundant safety features and procedures that it'll be difficult for such a tragedy to happen again. Legend has it, among the Rolling Thunder crew, that Jesus, Jeffrey, are you okay
I'm just
over there?
thinking about how anybody would get on that ride 2 days later after somebody died. They're like,
Listen,
no, it's fine. We checked.
wasn't
it's
a
safe.
mechanical
It's okay.
failure.
The guy was
Idiot.
just an idiot. Still,
it's true,
it's
though.
dark. That's dark. You can't.
I mean, it is.
Well,
but
all right.
If you
Okay.
were to tell me that, like, people on this plane, the plane crashed or whatever, but then you were to tell me, let's say, the pilot just gunned it down.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, well, it's like obviously like the pilot's fault.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. This guy who was
Yeah, but in your scenario, the plane doesn't make it out the
That's
other
what
side. It's a
I'm
totally different
saying.
plane.
What do you
Oh, that's
mean?
true.
All right. You're at Six Flags Great America. You're
sit where
there
he
for
sat.
you're on vacation, right?
Staying.
You're there for 3 days. You go there, the ride's open, then it's not open. Everybody's talking about it all over the park. Your last day of the ride, it's open again. You're getting in line and getting on that ride. You personally,
Yeah, it's gonna be the shortest
Yeah.
line in the town. Yeah, man. I want to ride that
have a
multiple
good point.
times.
You have a good
Yeah,
point
you're
there.
kidding me? That thing just got inspected.
Right,
Yeah.
Like, we
freshly
are
inspected.
You know what?
I don't
good.
think it should be able to go without the lap bars down.
Well, yeah,
but
I mean,
also-
it
that's
doesn't
it.
now. That's
Safety
the thing.
first, right?
So,
Yeah.
last bit here. Legend has it among the Rolling Thunder crew that the deceased operator haunted the ride, and that every year on the anniversary of his death, which is August 16th, something strange always happened, including phantom error messages, a broken proximity switch, and blown lift transformers.
What kind of error messages?
I don't know.
That's sick.
That's pretty awesome. Like,
Does anybody lap bar to like flip up on the fast turn? Like, this is awesome.
I imagine. I mean, like if they were opening this ride, like this guy like went off to do a test run. There had to be someone at the loading station too, and it's like it comes back around,
Someone
and it's like, hey, what happened to Bill? Like,
Yeah, it's
he was on here, wasn't he?
It was the guy who won the bet.
Yeah.
So Scott Tyler. So like, yeah. So the guy got whipped out. I wonder if anyone saw it or if it was just kind of like,
I hope
They
not.
must have.
where did he go?
Do you think there was a
Yeah, did
As
he
he
eat?
fell.
Followed by a thunk, I imagine.
He actually yelled as he went through the air, someone's going to have to autopsy to figure out what happened here. Splat.
Hey Jeff,
I can see my house from
I've
here.
got another place near and dear to your heart in Turner.
You did that already.
I know that's the whole joke. The Enchanted Forest in Turner, Oregon. Have you ever heard of that?
We talked about a recent episode. I've been to the Enchanted Forest a few times.
Well, hey, this is exactly near and dear to your heart.
It is near and dear to my heart. I went there as a child.
I was paying attention to you. So, for those of you who don't know, the Enchanted Forest is a whimsical 20-acre amusement park located in Turner, Oregon, on a small patch of hilly wooded land next to Interstate 5, just south of Salem, Oregon. The park was created and hand-built by Roger Toft over a period of 7 years in the late 1960s. The park first opened to the public in 1971. Much of the park's handcrafted nature, from life-size childhood nursery statues and oddly shaped buildings, can make you feel uneasy. I have to show you some photos.
Yeah, I'm
of
trying to
these.
figure out what nursery.
These
is
are-
that Humpty Dumpty?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Is
Okay.
he opened
Is
or
he
is
on a wall?
Or is he on the
So
wall?
this is a building
Oh,
that,
hell
like
no.
one of the ones.
Yeah.
What is that, Hansel and Gretel witch?
Yeah, and so that's a building
She's
going
enormous.
to, and then
Why would you go to this place?
here
It's
is
adorable.
is that just looks so lovely
Now
and so
that's
much
cute.
fun.
I mean,
That's cute and
more
whimsical,
like-
and shall I say mystical?
the Humpty
even?
Dumpty one is more like, a little artistic style.
Was that
to
Humpty Dumpty over there?
That was Humpty
Yeah.
Dumpty.
You know the thing about Humpty Dumpty?
What's that?
No.
Not to get off on an offshoot. We assume he's an egg,
Right.
but he's not. He was never mentioned as an egg.
He's
right?
just a person.
Well, wasn't
Yeah.
Humpty
But
Dumpty
he
actually a
does
cannon?
crack like an egg, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
but for the sake
Don't
of
we all?
kids, what breaks
From
open
fall,
Yeah,
eggs?
high in the
true.
fall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wanna
he
show
was,
him-
Humpty Dumpty's actually a cannon, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Oh.
okay, Jeff, can you name off any of the attractions at Enchanted Forest since you've been there so many times?
There's Alice in Wonderland's keyhole.
I'll go to
There's
that
a
one.
cave structure you can rummage around
Oh,
through.
okay. A lot of
There's
holes.
a giant witch with a mouth for a door.
More holes.
There's a water flume ride. I don't know what it was called, but
That's true.
So there's a wet
The
water
big
ride.
timber log ride?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's the Ice Mountain Bobsled roller coaster. It's 100 feet tall, 1,600 feet of track. The Challenge of Mondor, not Mordor, Mondor.
I got excited.
It's a royalty free.
You search for Mondor the wizard, who sends you off on a quest to fight the creatures of the dark to free the happy little drumlins.
What?
Also royalty free.
Do you remember the drumlins?
Drumlins.
Yeah.
It's an interactive target shooting adventure. It keeps your score while you battle. That's kind of
Oh,
cool.
that's
And of
pretty
course, there's a haunted house too. Because what's a theme park without a haunted house? You can visit the spirits of the haunted house if you dare, which is great. So now. Employees have reportedly felt the presence of ghosts on the Haunted Mansion and the Challenge of Mondor ride, so much so that the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures went to go check out the park themselves. So this is obviously big enough that they actually brought a
Talking
show
about
out
Zach
to.
Bagans.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And during Ghost Adventures, the team chatted with Ashley Toft, park manager, and Roger Roth's granddaughter, though never personally experiencing
Did
any.
you just say Roger Roft when you meant Roger Toft?
It says Roger Roft on here, but that's Ben's fault because he wrote Roft. He's taking credit for it.
Oh, yeah.
You can't say it. That should be Roger Toft. Thank you, Jeff,
Yeah, no problem.
for picking that up. Ben, shame on you. Shame on you. Though never personally experiencing any supernatural phenomena in the haunted house, Toft admitted the attraction made her feel anxious and overwhelmed. She took the team on a walk through the old house filled with handcrafted props and cold spots attributed to otherworldly presences. That's a thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
ghosts give off cold spots when you walk around. You're supposed to feel them. And
The idea is that a ghost, in order to manifest in some way or interact with his physical plane, is that it draws energy, and temperature is just a form of energy. And so one way is that you feel cold. Other popular ways that you've seen on shows like Ghost Adventures are batteries being depleted like that,
Right.
that were
Yeah,
supposed to
right.
be charged up.
Yeah, they suck your soul.
Things that we have experienced ourselves when we were professional ghost hunters.
we were.
Yeah.
Once you're a professional, you never go back. So
true.
I like to think that you're all still professional ghost hunters.
Yeah.
That's
I'd
true.
like to
We
go
did.
back.
We did tie Trevor to a bed as a professional ghost
That
hunter. With
happened.
Diaz.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And
heard
left him
Hell
for
no.
an hour.
I needed therapy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, but seriously,
Also-
straight up,
that
and
one.
Jeff's shins were
I saw
destroyed.
that also happened. Jeff fell asleep and then he banged his shins a lot. But I heard
that
some
one.
wild stuff that night. Anyway, Haunter.
Check out Haunter if you're a first member of our Rooster Teeth. Well, speaking of the electricity and the cold stuff, or the energy type thing, operator Chris Dunn, who is part of the show, he had an inexplicable encounter one morning in 2016 while prepping the wizard-themed target shooting attraction for the day. He explained how he heard footsteps behind him, but no one was there. And quote, 5 seconds later, it's just like I got hit with this energy right through me, he said. It made me feel really dizzy, and then I got the chills. Later that day, the same thing happened with more intensity. He took photos of the ride not in operation and captured images of what looks like an orb that changes shape in 3 sequential photos.
Ghost orb.
Ghost orb.
Wait, it changes shape?
Yeah, they move around. So you see orbs a lot. I think we caught an orb in Louisiana at one point during one of the Haunter shoots.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I put it in my hat. It's in my closet.
Yeah.
You caught it?
Lucky orb.
The Ghost Adventures team spent the night in the park and experienced some of these things for themselves, from feeling a chilling energy in the challenge of Mondor to communicating with a spirit in the haunted house. But perhaps even more interesting than the paranormal activity itself is its origin. The haunted house was built along with the rest of the attractions, and the challenge of Mondor was constructed in 2006, but no tragedy has occurred in the park. So where did the spirits come from?
Forest.
They're kind ghosts.
It's the
Here we
Enchanted
go.
Forest.
We got a poltergeist situation here.
Would you lock yourself down at this place? Would you go? First of all, in the daytime when it's open.
Asking me, do I look like
Would you go?
Oh, okay. So first and foremost, I'm one of those people that's a quick hell no.
Okay.
I would go because you're shuffling so many meat bodies into this theme
Yeah.
park. Like,
Shields.
what
Lots of
are
meat
what are the
bodies.
chances?
No,
right?
I'm a beacon.
A ghost can only do so much.
You're a beacon.
I'm a beacon.
You've attracted activity in your past.
I am a beacon.
All right.
Then I'm following right behind
stay
BK.
behind her.
I'm
Let
good.
her catch everything.
Is that what the B in BK stands for?
Beacon, baby.
It's beacon catcher is basically what it is. So we have a poltergeist situation in August of 1846. So this is a long time ago. Oregon settlers and Native American tribes of the Willamette Valley fought a bloody battle in the present-day Salem known as Battle Creek.
Willamette Valley.
First of all, yes, I said it wrong so many times because we did an
Willamette?
episode. The dream
Willamette.
survey happened in Willamette.
Willamette.
So yes,
Okay, I'm glad we're correcting it
Task
now.
Force out there has been like, no, that's not how you say it. This is awesome. Something
Yeah.
else happened in this place.
Yeah. So the Ghost Adventures team believes the energy could cause the manifestation in the theme park, which was built in close proximity to the gruesome fight. So it happened nearby. So maybe wind is pushing the spirits over into the Enchanted Forest.
The spirit's trying to get back, but the wind is pushing it away like a current.
So there you go. So that's kind of wild. That
Like a bad place in general.
They just
It's
move
like
the
somebody
headstones,
blew on a
Jeff.
ghost dandelion and it just carried all the, all the spirits over.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that sounds like a cool place. So Jeff, you think we should go there sometime?
Dude, I would love to. I've been as a kid and then as an adult. And Fredo, you have nothing to be afraid of. It's actually it's like a kid's theme park. It's very lovely. It's not even.
You guys get the day shift, Red Web, BK. We'll take the night shift.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, since you're taking BK, the annual
I'll
pass
get
will
the
take
seat.
me.
No, I'll be the guy in the
nice
seat
little
back.
switcheroo. I can go during the
Yeah,
day.
you can go on all the drop rides and all the crazy roller
like
coasters.
drop
I'm going
rides,
at night. I'm going at night. I'm going at night.
Not a
Those
big-
drop rides are so much scarier at night, though.
That's true. Well, you can close your eyes though.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they'll
that's
be
true.
closed, right?
You don't need the lap bars down at night.
No, dude. Right now, so Universal Studios doing Halloween Horror Nights as we speak right now, which we're trying to get out to. We're locking something in very soon. That park is open till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's all filled with like loud
Scary.
screaming noises and music and people in costumes trying to scare you. It's awesome.
I was there just a few weekends ago, maybe 2.
At Universal
and,
Studios?
and I was watching as they were setting some of these things up. So I got some really cool photos of these things set up but not active yet.
Sure.
So I was there in the twilight era of them.
Yeah.
Like I just wish I got to see it.
Yeah, it's so cool. It is really neat because like when we were there last time, we went for Halloween Horror Nights, Jeff and I did last year, and if you go during the day and then you go at night, it's like 2 entirely different theme parks. It is the coolest experience watching it turn over.
That being said, you know how you were talking earlier about the one ride where just kind of you're in a seat and the chain's
yeah, like
holding you.
the
You
swing.
mean the one that
yeah.
killed Steven Tyler?
Jeez.
Aerosmith?
What?
Rock and Roller Coaster?
Was that who it killed?
It was
Something Tyler.
Steve. What was
Steve
his-
Perry?
Steve Perry should have been gone. Scott Tyler.
Scott Tyler.
Yeah.
So
His brother.
So imagine you're on that ride at night,
Okay.
the ride's going on,
Horrifying.
and then a tragedy happens. Guy goes flying, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." That's terrifying in itself, but also it'd be pretty hard to find at night, right?
Oh, they just
At
get
some
flung
point,
off.
you got to find the body.
Yeah.
In the
I think they're
morning.
well lit.
Are they? As they're soaring through
There's
the
a
air
lot
into
of
the
like
night?
there's a lot of like woodsy areas behind
Yeah.
fences and stuff.
Yeah, they catch people that fall, right?
I feel like
Yeah.
there's, step one, oh my God, shock, and I can't believe
Sure.
that happened. Step two, Where?
Step 2, oh no,
Where-
they landed
where-
in the
where'd
corn
they-
maze
where'd
out
they
back.
go?
We'll never find them.
If you saw a body go flying,
Well,
though,
like
I'm
the
sure people
cops
have a
and the
trail.
ambulance come, you just go that way.
I will say if you're like, it's early in the morning and you haven't started yet and you're just doing test rides and maybe the other guy's not paying attention and the ride comes back around and he's just not on it and you have that like 3 minutes of like, I wonder what happened. You have to like,
And then you like start like, was he on there? Like if he didn't make a noise or if he was out, it's
if
like
you can't see the general direction he flies,
Right.
yeah, it could be hard to find a body.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? These are good points.
we should do some tests. It'll be a next episode of Immersion. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Annual Pass. And we're going to take 1 second to tell you a little bit about our sponsor today, which I'm a big fan of. It's 30 Morbid Minutes, and another awesome podcast from Rooster Teeth. Do you ever find yourself awake in the middle of the night, reading real-life stories that make your skin crawl, the creepy history behind Victorian nursery rhymes, or tales of sleep paralysis demons? That's horrifying. Perhaps you've seen the haunting images of corpses on Mount Everest, read the last meal request of death row prisoners, or experimented with seances on spirit boards. If you've ever wondered, hey, what the heck exactly is necrocannibalism? I'm wondering that now. Then 30 Morbid Minutes is the new podcast for you. Hosted by Elise Willems and Jessica Vasami, each episode investigates a new topic ranging from the macabre to morbid to downright creepy. Sourced straight from history and the headlines of today. Give it a listen. It's a little bit more intense, so maybe if you got younger listeners, maybe I don't know about that one. Maybe give it a listen first and then let them listen to it. But it is absolutely fantastic. You can subscribe right now on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts. New episodes every Tuesday and Mondays for RT First members as well. So give it a listen. Tell them we sent you their way and enjoy 30 Morbid Minutes. Now, back to the show. All right. Well, you know, we talked about Six Flags, talked about Enchanted Forest. Let's dive into some of the big bad mysteries from Disney. Disney, you know, obviously millions and millions of people go through Disney parks over the years. Lots of people don't come back from Disney, which is a quiet thing. So the big
They
thing.
fall in love with it.
Wait,
They're Orlandoans. They moved to Orlando.
They love
they make
they
it their
live in
entire
celebration.
brand.
Disney adults.
maybe
They
like
have-
Mickey would just scoop
They're like
you
Disney.
up
They're like the parrot
inside.
heads of Disney. It's the whole thing.
So Disney's done a very good job of presenting the whole idea of like no one ever dies at Disney. It's not true. People die at Disney a lot, actually. Quite a few every single year. Oddly enough, the majority of people that pass away while at Disney are usually done through self-inflicted wounds. There's a lot of people will go to Disney and commit suicide. And so, like, because, you know, you have enough hotels, you have enough people there.
Are they
It
like
happens.
sacrificing their
Happiest place on
blood to
earth?
Mickey?
I mean, you've been on vacation with family before. You know it can get you.
I've been on vacation with you.
Yeah. You made it
I'm
back, so
sorry
it makes
for
me happy.
both of you.
Yeah.
But see, that's the most common occurrence. That happens shockingly more often
I'm
than
just
you would think.
emotional. I just want an emotional roller coaster of shock, awe, and then sadness
Yeah.
because they just wanted to go in the happiest place on earth.
Yeah. And we'll talk about.
I had lost soul.
So
The
it's not-
important thing, though, is that it was a roller coaster, which is appropriate for this podcast.
Is there a ride
it's not-
called the emotional roller coaster?
Yeah.
We should look into that.
So it's not like Fantasia, like Mickey's like it's like a cult robe. It's not like a magic robe.
No, nothing like that. This is anyway. It's a whole creepy, horrible thing. But let's talk about some things that have happened and some spooky stuff that have happened across some of the different parks and rides over all the years. Trevor, you have a question?
I was going to
sir?
say, can we, before we dive in, unless you guys know the deets, should we guess as to which ride attracts the most haunt?
we can talk about
That'd
that.
be awesome.
Yeah,
I would
I think
love for that kind of
Pirates.
stuff.
Okay, so Pirates of the Caribbean.
Small World.
Oh, small world for sure. Oh,
I mean,
Space
it's old.
Mountain.
I'll give that to you. There's a lot of history on that
More
one.
people lose their minds on Small
eerie.
World than their life. So
I mean, I thought those things were alive as a kid. Like, I was worried
Really?
there's going to be an army of small
think-
children singing this
Like maybe
song,
lost children
chasing
become
me down.
puppetified
You can
into
come
these.
into the ride.
Welcome to the ride, and they become these little things.
Oh yeah, you become a part of the ride for sure.
It's kind of like how there's one real skull left on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, right?
yeah, supposedly.
Three of the souls of real children are still in
Yeah, human remains. were
characters in It's a
used.
Small World.
We'll talk about
Wait,
human remains in a
really?
bit too. Actually, well, there's quite a few of them.
A lot of people spread ashes. Didn't we talk about that?
Oh, that's a
yeah.
thing that happens at Haunted Mansion. I don't know. I think that might be on the list I've got here. Yeah, Ben says it
Okay.
is.
So when you're
we'll talk about Haunted
cheering
Mansion
on the ride and you get a strange taste in the air.
It's
Ew.
somebody's
windy
Uncle
day?
Carl.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, let's get into it. How many of you guys have you guys been to Disneyland before?
Yes.
Yes.
What's Disneyland?
No.
You've never been to Disneyland. Okay.
Disneyland, no.
That's the one in Anaheim in California. So you've not been there. Everyone else pretty
I've
much
been
has.
there. I went to Walt Disney Elementary School, which was like
Wait, you did?
Yeah.
That was you?
Did
That
they have
was
his head
me.
in a display case?
It was Disney themed to all hell. And yeah, we
That
got
sounds terrible.
it's like an actual
Do you see
Disney
like the
in
school.
San
Mickey
Francisco?
song instead
No,
of
no,
the
this was
national
in
anthem?
Anaheim. I lived there for like 3 years.
I didn't know you lived in Anaheim.
Yeah.
What do you think pushed him out of Anaheim?
CK.
Van Skate Park, all that kind of stuff. But
Real
yeah, no, it was Walt Disney Elementary School.
That's crazy.
That's cool. I didn't know that existed. That's neat.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into that. So everyone is here. Has everyone ridden the Matterhorn?
Yes.
Yes. That's the one. It's the roller coaster.
mountain?
It was the very first steel tube coaster on, I think, in the U.S.
I
Maybe
was
the
gonna
planet.
ask, that wasn't the Viking one at
No,
Epcot?
no,
That's
no.
not called the Matterhorn.
No, that was the Maelstrom.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Maelstrom.
Is it?
Sorry.
What, describe
the
it.
mountain?
The
'cause-
Matterhorn it's shaped like the Matterhorn Mountains. It's a bobsled ride. So
Okay,
it's the one
that
that has
one was
two
out
tracks.
when I was there.
Okay, yeah. So there's two tracks that both kind of go side by side. There's a left version and a right version. They're all a little bit different. So there is some sad history behind this one. In 1984, Regina Young, known as Dolly, fell from her seat while riding the Matterhorn at Disneyland and was killed when she was struck by another oncoming bobsled. Her seat was unbuckled, but we don't know whether she undid it herself or whether it was a result of something else. These days, some cast members claim to have felt like someone was watching them during their routine walkthroughs of the ride, which are conducted at the end of the day. And the area on the track where where she died is actually known as Dolly's Dip.
Now,
So
is it worst to be the person behind Dolly and see
Yeah.
them go, or is it worse to be the person
That
that
Dolly hits?
splashes?
You're like, I
Yeah.
wanted to be
Yeah.
in the front row, but then that
like
happened.
which is worse? See someone
Yeah.
get sucked out, or like someone land and bounce off?
I
Yeah,
don't want to
'cause
see
you
a
can't-
person act like a bouncing object.
I mean, that's my thing. Is like the
terrible.
idea of being in the car that hit her. Like that's a nightmare because you can't stop. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There's no brake you can hit. It's like, well,
You just keep going. Oh God!
And it's not like there's napkins or towels on the ride.
I don't want to be in the splash zone. No.
Oh no!
How old was Dolly?
she was
Please don't be a kid.
Not tall enough
she was
to
a
ride the
child.
ride.
Yeah. I don't know.
On.
Yeah.
it
So
just
You
get
gotta
cold
lead
in
with
here?
that, man.
I think she was a
Yeah.
child. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
Well, he
I went
did
kind
say
of brutal
young.
with it.
So yeah.
Well, you did went brutal. In my head, I somehow I knew it was a child, so I don't know how you guys missed it.
I
They
would
said
have
child.
left out
Said
the
child.
bounce
Yeah.
part.
Bouncing baby. That's what they are, right? Have you guys seen the photo of Fabio riding his roller coaster where he hit a dove and broke his nose?
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God, no.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was famous.
Can we pull up a photo?
Yeah. So
Wait, what?
Fabio roller coaster.
Imagine
So-
the luscious locks.
So Fabio, who is the cover
all
like
the romance
handsome
novels.
model, who he was like on all the romance books, So there was a roller coaster, and there was a character on the roller coaster, like a Zeus or a Thor or something, and they modeled it after Fabio, and so they had him ride it for the inaugural opening. So it's him and all of these women dressed like
my
Athenian goddesses.
God.
He's riding it in the front row, and a dove flew in front of him, and he hit it
No
and broke
way,
his nose. So he pulled
No
back into the station,
way.
just covered in blood, not like surrounded by these goddesses. Like,
Jeff,
oh, no,
who was-
Fabio.
Who was the pitcher? He was
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson.
Yeah,
Yep.
Randy Johnson.
He pitched
Oh.
and he hit a bird.
He
right?
broke a bird.
Exploded that bird.
Yeah.
I'm still on the dove thing. I didn't know doves were in the wild.
That's why they cry.
Yeah, like,
Excuse me?
Damn it, be right.
I mean, they're
I've
around
only ever
Austin.
seen them
Well, you didn't know
released.
doves were in. You didn't know doves were.
Where did they
Doves
go?
are only born and bred in captivity.
I've never,
I've never seen
a dove
free
in the
roaming
wild.
doves before.
Hold on a second.
I've never seen
Let's dive
cage-free
into
doves.
this. We can dive into the conspiracy theory that birds might not be real because where do you see pigeons in the wild,
That's
dude?
true.
You don't. They're
They
only in
didn't show up
barns.
until suddenly.
Oh, no,
boom.
man.
It's just like mosquitoes that were
San
made by the
Francisco all the time
gators.
shit
It's
on
crazy.
everything.
Yeah, wait a minute. What?
Wait,
I'm sorry,
Are
not
you by the
mosquitoes.
gators?
No, they're
pigeons
love
just
bugs.
Oh, you're talking about the Florida
Are
gators?
pigeons dirty
Yes.
doves?
I believe it.
Yes. All right, we got a lot more stories to get to.
Sorry.
Let's get away from doves and Fabio. All right,
So many doves in my backyard.
So the Walt Disney Firehouse, like Main Street USA, when you walk into Disneyland, it's made to look like a kind of like the idyllic town, sometime like the 40s, 50s, or whatever. And there's a firehouse there. The one in Disneyland actually has an apartment built above it, and that's where Walt Disney would stay when he was working on property at Disneyland, right? So if you're well-versed in Disney lore, you're probably already aware of the fact that there's an apartment above Firehouse, Main Street at Disneyland. During construction of the park, which began July 16th, 1954, with opening day just a year later on July 17th, 1955, Walt Disney, the man himself, wanted a place to stay on the property. It wasn't large, about 500 square feet, but it was convenient for those late nights and early mornings as Walt oversaw the Disney dream coming to life. As a tribute to Walt, there's a light that's always left on in the apartment's front window. So you can see it now. You can walk in. You can see the light always lit in the front window. But according to legend, this wasn't always the case. It's said that one day a cast member looking after the apartment tried to turn the light off before leaving, just kind of absentmindedly. However, when she came back later, the light had turned back on. Creepy. According to one version, she actually left the building, noticed the light on upstairs, went back to turn it off, went back downstairs, noticed it on again, even went back upstairs, unplugged the lamp, only to find it, you guessed it, on again when she went downstairs. The last time she went up there just to deal with the light, it said she heard a voice, Walt's maybe, say, "I'm still here."
I was about to say,
The light in the window has always been on ever
This
since
is just
then.
an employee and a janitor at All Ends.
Gotta be, right?
Right. What's
Someone's cleaning up in
This
the
is
next
always
room.
on. What?
Yeah.
Can I share a brief story?
Of course, Jeffrey.
I probably told this on other shows and podcasts in the past, but as you, at least Jack probably knows, I used to live in a haunted house. The previous house I had, like before my divorce, where I lived, was super, super haunted. It was a whole thing where Bernie's kid was scared to come to the house because there were ghosts in the ceiling. They looked like clouds, and Millie used to draw ghosts all the time. It was weird.
You've got a ghost tattoo that Millie
I got a
draw.
ghost tattoo that Millie drew from that house. But one time, it was well known that we had ghosts in the house, and that once we got over the weirdness of it, it just kind of became like a feature. And so you just like talk to it sometimes if it was being annoying, and it would go away. And one time, I went into the downstairs bathroom. It was before there was an upstairs, so it was only the downstairs bathroom. I went into the bathroom to wash my hands. I turned the light on, and I started to wash my hands in the pedestal sink, and the light turned off. And I was like, all right, knock it off, ghost. And I went back and I turned the light back on, and I went back to wash my hands, and the light turned off again, and there was a towel on the shower rack hanging, and then 2 towels on the towel rack. So on different sides of the bathroom, and the lights turned off, and both towels, like all 3 towels, hit the ground at the same time.
Oh,
Wait, so the
hell
switch
no.
actually
Yeah,
kicked?
Yeah, like I flipped it up, turned the light on,
And
and
flipped
then
back
went and started
down.
washing my hands, and it flipped back down, and I was like, knock it off, ghost. And I went over and I flicked it on again, harder this time, making sure that I didn't just like half hit it, right? Got back to the sink, was able to turn the water on and start washing my hands. So like 8 seconds, turned back off, and then all the towels in the room hit the ground.
Nah, I'm out of there.
Did you sit on the ground and slide across your kitchen floor or anything?
Yeah.
That house is sold. No way.
Well,
So I'm here to say it can happen.
the rules, man. You don't talk back. You don't acknowledge its existence because you don't know what it actually is.
Yeah, we'd been living together for a while at that point.
Oh, so there was a trust bill. Okay, you know
That
what?
freaked me
Fair
out,
enough.
though. That freaked me out. I wasn't happy in that moment.
because
Jeff,
that
I think you
shows,
just
like,
broke
emotion.
BK, by the way.
I can tell you more stories offline if you
Oh,
want. BK.
please.
Well, you're like tapping to core memory of like me being younger, because I told y'all I'm a beacon, so like stuff definitely happens to me and feelings are very strong. But like as you were describing the towels, I vividly remember children that I spoke to as a kid in my house in Florida.
Really?
100%.
Do you think any of those kids died at Disney?
I don't know, because it's Florida. You never know.
You never know. It's
But the
Disney or
odds are
alligators.
good.
It
right?
says Disney or alligators. It's
100%.
50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of remains and creepy kids
Oh,
and whatnot,
no, not more creepy kids.
let's get into it. So,
What do they talk about? We'll have to talk about this later.
Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion obviously is a very, very big ride at Disneyland, Disney World. Haunted Mansion everywhere. All the different parks have a different version of it. At Disneyland, California, legend has it that a little boy's mother spread his ashes in the Haunted Mansion without getting the park's permission to do so. Ever since then, he's allegedly heard periodically crying for his mother at the end of the ride. He's apparently been spotted at Pirates of the Caribbean 2, which is right next door to Disneyland's Haunted Mansion. For what it's worth, Disneyland's official stance on ash scattering is that it doesn't happen. According to a story in the LA Times in 2007, people do ask from time to time, but they're always told no. Additionally, it's worth noting that alleged ash scattering is connected to a wide variety of urban legends spread across a bunch of parks and rides. I will say this happened when I was working at the park. People will go in and quietly sneak in ashes and scatter them.
Like in their pockets?
Yeah, I assume especially the
Like
water
pocket
rides
dust?
make
Pocket
sense.
ash,
Like
yeah.
it's really easy to just.
Yes. Sorry, BK.
No, though I was just thinking though all the rides that would make sense, like roller coaster, no, but there's so many like water rides that like absolutely make sense. Like the dust just goes, and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah. The thing is with these, especially like Haunted Mansion, there are cameras on every square inch of that attraction.
I
and
didn't know that.
if they see you doing it, they will stop the ride, shut down the ride, kick everyone out, and a hazmat team will come and pick up those ashes.
Yeah, just start vacuuming
How do you pick them
those
up in the
ashes up.
dust?
I mean, like it's still
In the water.
Have you ever seen ash?
Yes.
It's thick enough that if it's piled.
Yeah, but once it hits the wind, dude, like
It's lost.
not
It's gone.
not to get into the weeds
You're
with
sitting
stories
there,
again,
there's
but
cannons flying, you're on a ship.
my
you know?
mom covered a family and my dad when she spread his ashes at the beach. Like it was brutal.
Well, I mean, I'm talking
You
more
become
specifically.
human seasoning at that
I'm
point.
talking more.
You know? Like zest.
Sorry.
I'm talking specifically
Dad.
Haunted Mansion, which is all indoors. I know it feels like you go outside, but
It
it's all
is true.
indoors.
It isn't. It does feel like you
but
go
they
outside
have
in the graveyard.
there's
though.
some moving, there's
like
some wind or
AC
something.
and
in
stuff.
there.
I mean,
Yeah.
air conditioner, but I mean, like
Yeah.
we have air conditioner in this room. Do you think you could throw ash and it would blow away
I bet
right
if
now?
I got some of my dad at home right now. I bet if I threw him in
Oh
front
my
of an air
God.
conditioner, it would spread.
Oh my gosh.
So really what this is,
Dad at home.
you got some dad at home. So really what this is kind of like a biohazard.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that's happened. I mean, that happens a lot where people are like, oh, my son loved this ride. I want to,
Yeah.
let him rest here. And it's like, ooh, that's still a place where literally millions of people go through
Ride
every
the
day.
ride forever.
You don't know what happens.
Maybe not. Maybe no ride is worth riding forever.
Take my ashes and sprinkle it into a PC. Let the fan just blow me out.
There you go. There you go.
Just run through a 2080 Ti on your way out to heaven.
Through your
low for
demise,
my
they
grave.
could create a new like ash cooling technology that could
Ooh,
revolutionize
refilter.
Yeah, I like
the
that.
high-end PC market.
I'm getting canned air and I'm blowing you back out. Get out of my PC. You're mucking up my stuff.
All right, BK, let's jump over to an attraction that exists in Walt Disney World at
Okay.
Magic Kingdom, but this happened at the Disneyland version of it. But you are probably the
Sure.
only person I can almost guarantee has ridden this attraction.
Okay.
It's in Tomorrowland.
Yes.
It's not a
Don't tell
scary
me.
attraction.
Don't tell me it. Don't tell me it's Space Mountain.
No, it's not Space Mountain.
Okay, I got so nervous. I love that ride.
No. I mean, I'm sure stuff is.
Nobody's
Actually, wait.
ever
Hang
died
on.
on
Just
Space
kidding.
Mountain.
My next story is about Space Mountain.
I was about to say,
But that's not the one. That's not the one I was talking about.
There's nothing
Okay.
about
That's not the one I was
Space
talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's a real slow attraction. It's more of a stage show kind of thing.
Oh.
And then maybe there's a great big beautiful tomorrow.
Beautiful tomorrow. Oh man, I don't know the name of that.
The Carousel of Progress.
Progress.
So the Carousel of Progress in 1974. This is Disneyland. In 1974, 18-year-old Deborah Stone was crushed to death while working as a hostess at the America Sings attraction at Disneyland, which America Sings took over for what Carousel of Progress
Okay.
was. That moved out to Orlando with the opening of the park out there, and so they replaced Carousel of Progress with America Sings. So America Sings was the rotating theater that had previously housed the Carousel of Progress. On the evening of July 8th, Stone was caught between the rotating theater wall and the stationary wall and died as a result.
Yeah, that's bad.
So the way this attraction works, it's a big ring where in the middle of the ring is like a show. It's got animatronics and they tell the story. They tell stories. The whole theater rotates and there's 5 sections. Like there's 5 kind of like pizza slices. And so you move to the next one, but there are stationary walls and then the whole thing moves. And so Deborah Stone managed to get herself in between the moving wall and the stationary wall, and she was crushed to death.
See, a lot of the previous deaths felt like Final Destination. This feels like Saw.
Yeah.
A safety light was subsequently put in, which warned the attraction's operator when people got too close to this dangerous area. Additionally, the stationary walls were later replaced with breakaway ones. The building recently housed Innovations and Superhero headquarters, although those attractions closed in 2016. As is often the case when senseless tragedy occurs, one of the ways that people have coped with this upsetting loss is by creating a ghost story for it. In this case, Debbie Stone has become sort of a guardian angel. It's said that cast members working on the attraction, which was open until 1988, used to hear a voice warning them, be careful if they got too close to the walls. That is an attraction. So Carousel of Progress is out at Magic Kingdom now in Tomorrowland. And that one, so you sit down and there's no buckles, there's no seatbelts.
No.
It's just a moving theater, a big movie theater. But if you stand up during that show, they will shut it down. They do not mess around. They do not suffer fools on that one. Like I've been on that attraction where someone got up and they're like, no, sit down. And they didn't rotate it. And we ended up rewatching the same scene. And then people got tired. They then stood up because they were tired. Like, all right, we're going again. We watched the same scene 5 times in a row until people literally stood up and started exiting the ride and they had to evac the whole ride.
Did you get in trouble?
No, I wasn't
Was
there.
it you?
I mean, I was
It was
watching.
him.
I was one of the last ones. Like, still, they're like,
You're like,
cast
I'm
member
ready.
says sit down. I'm sitting down. I'm not getting up. I don't want to get hurt. So anyway,
I would have been like, Jay, check this out.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Stand up. Yeah, well, I feel like breakaway walls should have been part of the principal engineering, right?
Yeah.
If you could find a pinch point that people can get to in
Yeah.
the moving segment, then I feel like that's a red flag.
Safety has been a learning process through,
Yeah,
through
that's
our
true.
society. I saw on Reddit the other day, you guys might have seen it, a kid's playground from like 1912, and it was the most dangerous structure.
Is it
was
all
like
metal
3
and, like-
stories tall and made
It's just
of
like
wood.
I-beams and you walk
kids
across
are
them.
like hanging off of it. It just like 18 kids died a week playing on that thing.
Jeez. You know what? You're right. We stand on the shoulders of giants before
Hobbled
us
giants.
that learned all the hard lessons.
Hobbled, broken, turns out not made of stone giants.
Let's shoulders and pile.
Well, BK, this one's for you. Let's talk about Space Mountain.
Man.
So, Mr. One Way. Some accounts describe Mr. One Way as a red-haired man with a red face. Others say he's a kid dressed in 70s era clothing. The stories say he tends to hang out in the queue for Space Mountain, although whether or not he talks to people while waiting varies depending on who you ask. The red-haired man apparently doesn't, but the boy does. Although it's worth noting that the kid version of Mr. One Way doesn't have any knowledge of the changes made to the park since the 70s. According to some video footage found, though, Mr. One Way doesn't wait in the queue at all. He appears only at the actual ride cars, approaching them from the opposite side of the waiting area, the side on which the people are supposed to exit the ride, sitting down in any empty seats he can find. It's said he disappears right before you hit the final tunnel at the end of the ride. For what it's worth, a second ghost dubbed Disco Debbie is also said to haunt Space Mountain, although her story is even weirder. She apparently glows in the dark.
Oh,
I want to
that's
meet
cool.
Mr. One Way and Disco Debbie. They sound cool. They sound fun.
Disco Debbie might be ruin the immersion of the space with all that glow.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it would. If I saw Disco Debbie in Space Mountain, literally one of the darkest rides you can ride
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
I would. You'd hear like, woo, wah! What is that? You'd hear a very significant change in my fear factor level.
BK, imagine you're the second to last seat. And there's, everyone else is in front of you. And as you're going on Space Mountain, you're kicking off this ride, the person in front of you, they're looking forward, but their head spins backwards. And then you go right
Mr.
to
One Way just looks back like,
No, Mr. What? We look one way. Look the right way.
I like the way this ride looks from the back. And I turn around.
Man, Space Mountain in general is just a spooky attraction, especially I know the one in Magic Kingdom. And, like you usually when you ride a roller coaster, you put your hands up and whatnot.
No.
You can touch stuff.
Yeah, don't do
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Don't
hell
It's
do that.
like, I guess it's been grandfathered in. Like stuff like that now, like there's like an entry.
Grandfathered in.
Well, there's an entry portal, like where it's like you're breaking the atmosphere and it's
Yeah.
like all glows, like, and you
Yeah.
literally touch the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then as you're coming back, you re-enter the atmosphere, and it's another thing where it's like red. Same deal. You can just reach up and touch it. I can touch it. I have touched it.
Well, you're tall.
Yeah, but still, it's like I shouldn't be able to. That's the thing.
true.
Yeah,
And
he's
so-
not that
You
tall.
shouldn't, again, we're talking about safety here. You shouldn't grandfather in these things. Because
Yeah.
grandfather used to play on whatever metal
Old,
spiky
yeah.
conundrum that the 1912s had. But like,
Yeah. So then stuff would fall off. I've got a personal ghost story I'll tell now. It's not on the list here. I've mentioned it before. I think I've told Jeff this story. He was very disappointed. So I did the Walt Disney World College program back in 2002, spring of
did?
2002. I know. I may have brought it up a couple
you had
times.
the elementary and you had the college.
Yeah. And when I worked out at Disney, it was Disney MGM Studios, now Disney's Hollywood Studios. I worked at the Great Movie Ride, which is the ride that's housed inside the Chinese theater, right? Like you walk in the park, you see it right in front of you. There was a giant blue annoying hat in the way when I was working there, but that's gone now. The ride is no longer there. It's been replaced by Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Great attraction. Still not as good as the movie ride, but whatever. When I was there, you basically, we have to cycle the vehicles through. So we have these giant vehicles that hold 70 people. They're real slow-moving vehicles, top speed of like 4 miles an hour, if that. And when you're going throughout the day, sometimes you run like dead shows. So like a show, if we're not too busy, we'll literally run an empty vehicle just to kind of space out people and just give people breaks and whatnot. So I was running a dead show one day, which you still have to go through the whole motions, do all the speed changes and everything like that. Just you have no one on it. You're not spieling to anyone. And in the finale, I was in car number 11 because there's like 14 cars. Car 11, I'm sitting there and watching the finale, and that's where usually where it'll park. And all of a sudden, my e-stop came on. So the e-stop will come on and not allow you to move the attraction if something's gone wrong. And I noticed row 6, the door had opened, which is odd because no one was on it. And row 6, the door had popped, which, you can't just open them. There's a button you have to hit to
Right.
unlock all the doors. But the row had popped open. It's like, that's weird. So I got out of the car, I shut it, went back, restarted it, and it was fine. And then I went around to the dock and I was like, hey, like I told the manager, like, hey, my door popped open. And he's like, oh, were you on car 11? I was like, Yeah. He goes, oh yeah,
Oh.
that's the haunted car. And I was like,
Oh,
what?
yeah, it is.
So the park opened opened up in 1989, and apparently early on in the attraction, an older gentleman with his family, like a grandfather, actually had a heart attack and passed away, supposedly in the finale of the attraction in car 11 on row 6.
No.
And apparently every now and then in the finale on dead shows, he'd open the door for himself.
He's like, yeah, I got to get out of here.
Yeah. And so that happened to me. That was a firsthand experience for me. So,
you got the experience and then you got the story layered over it. So you couldn't look for anything
right.
that happened.
Wild.
You just were like, oh, this
is what
happened.
happened.
And then people went, oh, but that's like point for point how this story goes. That's
now-
crazy.
And I have no reason to believe that my manager was messing with me. Like, apparently
Right.
this was a thing. So it's like, all right, that's
Well, also
something
eventually
I
probably would have been like, I was just messing with you.
Yeah.
But now the door pops like he popped.
You
it was very weird.
assume he was getting off, but who knows? Something may have been getting on.
That's
with
true.
You. You might be very lucky right now.
I was hoping that
Perhaps.
you would turn around and you would see someone.
No. I didn't even think of anything because I was like, oh, that's weird. And just shut it. And I was like, oh, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know anything about it. So
Yeah.
very, very spooky.
Did it happen again at all?
No. That was the only time it ever happened to me. It may have happened to other people, but I mean, it was something that was so inconsequential that no one thought of it. It's like not a big deal.
Did you ever ride car 11 by yourself again? On a dead
Probably.
ride?
I mean, honestly, we
You never
do it
try
all
to
the time.
recreate the.
No.
The
I mean,
circumstances.
I'm not
Seat
getting
6 and he goes, he shakes at the door and he goes, no, it's sturdy. It's good.
They're held on with like magnets, so it had to
Show
it was
me.
pretty significant pop. So
Yeah.
anyway, but that's my personal ghost story, and I've got one more ghost story. It's my favorite one of all of the whole park. So this one is something that's actually written in to the manual of the attraction. So let's talk about George the Ghost. George the Ghost haunts Pirates of the Caribbean and Florida at the Magic Kingdom. So do you know about George the Ghost?
I've heard the stories of George.
You've heard the stories of George. He's awesome. So apparently George the Ghost is a construction worker, or was a construction worker, who died while building Pirates of the Caribbean. The younger Imagineer either fell to his death while working at the top of the burning city scene inside the ride, which is towards the end of it, or had a heavy beam fall on him during construction. But either way, George died inside the Pirates building in 1970 before the park opened to the public. Legend has it that since opening day, cast members who open and close the attraction say good morning to George at the beginning of the day and good night to him at the close. That is written in the manual. You have to say good night to George every single night. That's literally part of the training now.
What
And
happens
if you don't?
Yeah.
If either of these greetings is missed, George is known to cause mischief, such as shutting down the ride, making phone calls from an empty control room, and showing up on ride monitors. Guests have reportedly felt a mysterious chill in the building during the city section of the ride, and cast members have had to repeatedly close the door near the famous key-holding dog scene near the exit. The door is now known as George's door.
So George is in the Pirates movies.
Yeah,
His door made it.
He made the jump.
Good job, George.
It's a quote from a cast member. Quote, I know that several times people forgot to do so, and the next day we would experience some difficulties, the cast member wrote.
Like tech difficulties or
Yeah, like some cast members have
actually-
said they've seen George on the cameras. So the cast members mentioned the doors that would be mysteriously open after being closed, and said some cast members actually felt tapping or tugging on their costumes, but found there was no one ever there. It's a really fun attraction to work in that is known to be haunted, the cast members said. There's one spot in particular, though, where George is said to hang out more than others, and is indeed the final big room within the burning city. He is said to often make guests feel his presence or chill when they're next to Pirate Pig and almost underneath the drunken pirate with the hairy leg.
The foot.
Many have reported instances with George and even claimed to have captured something on camera too. An online forumer, weird, known as Marling, posted a photo from the mid-2000s, or mid-2013 of herself and her brother. It was taken in the first set of caverns as you go through the mist flowing down with Blackbeard's image on it. That's now been changed.
Right.
That's like gone now. She said she captured a spirit sitting between them. The person on the forum said she went back and asked the cast members at Pirates of the Caribbean about it, and they simply said it was George. And I've also heard stories about cast members falling into the water and being helped out of the water, and then look around and there's no one there.
Wow.
So I've heard stories. George, this is a common thing. George is well known at Magic Kingdom in Florida.
I think we got to tap the annual passers and the task force at large here. You know, if you work at the parks, I think maybe you don't say. you gotta be kind to George, but like maybe we do a little bit of an experiment where we don't say anything to George for a week.
Hat and a tool belt ready.
See what happens.
Put George to work.
Right. We say
Also,
Get George a hammer.
Yeah. Also, if I had an outfit on and then I got tugged on and I turn around, no one's there, I'm fighting air. I'm shadow boxing.
All those animatronics.
I'm swinging violently. I'm sorry, George, not on purpose, but like you can't just tug people like that.
Well, Jeff, you're the resident ghost believer.
Yeah.
What would you do to help with George at Pirates of the Caribbean? Would you be with him? Would you try to get him to go home? What would you do?
I would follow the rules and not anger the ghost.
Okay.
He seems happy there, and there's an established procedure to keep George happy. Just keep George happy. Why anger George? George is not malevolent yet. But he can turn malevolent. Everybody has a bad day.
That's true.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
BK, have you heard any other stories of George? I mean, obviously, you're a Florida native, so you've heard of George.
That
He's
is my local
by
part.
far the most common guy.
I haven't
out there,
heard
ghost
anything
out there.
other stories, but I've heard like what you said about the water and the door 100%. There's time again, core memories being unlocked. I feel like I might have seen the door.
Ooh.
I feel like I have because when you said that immediately I went, okay, because I wanted to say it, but I was like, that's weird. What if it's wrong? I don't know. That is crazy. George is very much, I've had friends who have done the program that you're talking about as well, where they can corroborate that if you do not follow the rules, indeed stuff will happen.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I'm not going to work at that right. I'm not going to work at that.
BK. 5K. You're there at night by yourself. You can't say goodnight to George.
I can't say good.
No.
Do you stay or do you leave and just
Yeah.
not say it? You stay the night with George, or do you
Well,
leave without saying bye?
I'd have to stay the night because I can't leave. I have to say goodbye before I leave.
No, you can't say goodbye.
No.
Why are you being so rude to George, Fredo?
What did George ever do to you?
George never said hi or bye to me.
They investigate. It's what they do at Red Web.
We poke and
Investigate,
prod.
poke and prod.
man.
Poke away.
I would give an offering to George. Maybe, maybe we leave the door open for him. Like,
Yeah.
just like Phantom of the Opera, box 5, empty for his use. Let me leave it in one car.
That's true. Jeff just saw Phantom of the Opera, too.
I did just see it.
Yeah. Were there any ghosts in that one?
Not well, the
Chandelier.
Phantom.
Dude, the chandelier at the beginning of that is just like so awesome.
So awesome.
As you like time travel into the meat of the show.
I got to see it at the place in London where like the original location.
Oh,
serious?
Where it's been since day one. Yeah,
Sick.
it was really neat. It was really
That's
neat.
the one show I've seen on Broadway, and it was gorgeous.
Nice.
Yes.
I've seen a bunch of off Broadway, but
It's the one show I've been made to see too, and I really, I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. I consider myself a Phantom fan now. I've been listening to
You're
the
a fan,
music at
Tom.
home on
Oh,
purpose.
wow.
Yeah,
it's good.
it really is good.
Inside your mind is what happened.
Yeah.
It's very good. It got me to watch the Gerard Butler version, which is not as good.
No.
His accent comes through heavy, but man, they
Always
can
does.
sing.
Nice. Well, speaking of musicals, no, nothing. I got no segue there. So
She's like, wait,
I could.
you want to do some musical stuff?
I was just gonna like pair it up. The guy from The Conjuring is in that version of Phantom of the Opera. That's Raoul.
oh my God, you're right.
There you go.
If you like horror movies.
Comes back to
Yeah.
spooky stuff. Well,
He's Ed Warren in the Conjuring series.
so that's all the stories I have written out here. Thank you, producer Ben, for looking these things up. And usually during Annual Pass, we ask a question of the audience, and we say like, "Hey, we'll go through during our live streams we do monthly, and we'll pull down some of the best answers and talk about it." No question this week. I just want to ask: have you had an experience at a theme park? And if you have, please let us know what it is, and we'll read through some of them during our live stream, and we'll send an autographed park map to those ones we pull down and look at. Because I'm very curious. If you encountered George, any other cool stories, any theme park out there, let us know because I'd love to hear more. Go to roosterteeth.com, leave a comment on this episode, and we'll read through them. I'm very excited for this because I want to hear more stories like this. This is great.
I want to know if anybody else felt weird on the Runaway ride because like I felt uncomfortable in the queue and the pre-show.
On the Runaway, really?
Yeah, I felt vibes.
Really?
Like scary vibes. I was not happy.
That's
You
interesting
still
'cause-
went on the thing?
Well,
I was already
the
in the
only way
preview
out.
theater. There was no way out.
No, that's Final Destination. I'm getting off that plane. So I don't care.
Then you just get hounded by it. There's
yeah,
no
then
escape.
it just follows you, and then.
Yeah, I'm out.
when you feel it, you just got to know you're in it.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Trevor and Alfredo, for joining us. Do you
Thanks
guys
for
want to
having
let
us.
more people know about Red Web? I mean, I'm sure if
with
you're
it.
watching this show, you probably know what it is. But if you want to go through what it is, tell us what about Red Web.
Yeah, so Red Web, we are an internet mystery podcast. We also dive into true crime, cryptids. We've kind of splat around everywhere, but internet mysteries is kind of our bread and butter from there. And so we have our audio podcast, and then we are actually we started shooting. We shot the pilot for our show, Red Web Case File. It's kind of like a little variety show. Sometimes we're answering stuff from our task force. Our task force is our community. We're answering questions, or other times we're testing out to see what Bigfoot would smell like. So a lot of variety
I'm
of
so
stuff.
into it, and I'm excited for that episode. Jeffrey?
Yes, Jeff?
I have a question. Have you guys, through the course of your investigations, have you touched on mini alien scenarios?
Yeah,
You've done a
we've
lot of
talked
alien stuff?
about a few alien.
Have you guys
things.
covered like the UAP Tic Tacs that everybody's seeing all over the place now?
No,
No,
not
not
really.
that in
We haven't talked about
particular.
like the modern stuff.
good-
Like
yeah,
stuff
I would-
that's
I would
still
love-
trickling out.
I
you
would
know?
love for you guys to get to the bottom of the Tic
Yeah.
Tac phenomenon.
Yeah.
So if
I
you
would
guys
love
could get
to.
on that, that'd be
Yeah, we
awesome.
can go
we'll
ahead and
figure
try
it
and figure it out. We'll put that in the queue.
We'll crack it.
Nice.
Crack that case right wide
And so
open.
you can go listen to Red Web anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yes.
You guys have a website too or anything? Or
We have what is the website? redwebpod.com or something. Anyway, the website you should go to is youtube.com/redwebpod.
There you
Just
go.
find us there.
Awesome.
Easy.
Excellent. Well, fun times. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun. Jeff, are you doing okay over there?
Yeah, man. Why are you talking to me?
I'm always worried about you. Man. We're far away. We're further away when you typically are when
Dads
we
are
record
fighting
this.
again.
I'm sorry, BK.
We're not fighting. Dads had dinner together last night. It was lovely.
It was really nice.
Wait,
Doing
without me?
Well, I mean, Jeff, you didn't invite BK?
Dads need their
Jack
alone
invited me to
time.
dinner.
I can't believe you didn't invite BK. Well, all right. Well, thank you very much. Trevor, Alfredo, do you feel like you guys learned anything today?
Yeah, that I didn't like theme parks, and now even more so, I don't like them.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
all
like
the
them. Now
fun,
I'm more so I
safe
don't like
rides that don't scare him
just-
now have reasons to scare him, which
Absolutely.
is awesome. Which is
Insane.
what the show is all about.
Excellent. Well, we'll take you guys some theme parks soon. I'll show you all the ghosts and where they live. And it'll be a great
Please.
time.
I'm through.
BK, Jeff, you guys have a good time today?
Oh, yeah.
I did up until we found out you didn't invite BK to dinner last night. I was
That's
wondering where she was.
crazy.
Brutal.
Sort of
brutal.
downer right at the end.
Well, thank you everyone for listening and watching our show. YouTube.com/annual pass. If you want to see the live version, you can see all of our beautiful faces. Go to store.roosterteeth.com, grab some annual pass merchandise, including our new I Survived the Annual Pass podcast shirt. We got some Halloween shirts up right now, and that supports the show directly. So please spread the word about Annual Pass, let other people know about it, and we got to keep making more fun episodes. So until then, we love you, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
See
Bye,
ya.
everyone.